Hi guys, part 2 of my WandaVision review. I was trying to do it a little while ago and a complete power cut happened here in the town, so I was left in darkness, and you know what? It didn't turn me into Bane at all. That movie is a complete lie. But if you want to laugh at me when I'm trying to do my review and then everything just goes completely dark, you can watch that 6-second video on the channel, guys. Little funny thing for you to laugh at me with. But this is my review for WandaVision, Episode 1 and Episode 2. Finally, the MCU is back after a long break that they didn't really plan. Of course, nobody plans any breaks anymore with COVID-19 very much still at large. And we're in lockdown here, but it's good to have the Marvel Cinematic Universe back. It is something different, you know. DC 2020 was kind of DC's year, even though it wasn't a great year in terms of people going to the cinemas and stuff like that. Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman, you know. That was their chance to get ahead of Marvel, but it didn't work out in that capacity. But WandaVision. Now, this show has interested me for a very long time, especially if you've watched my videos, because the trailers have looked weird, they've looked different, and I've said to myself, wow, the MCU doing something very unique with their brand. I'll count me in. I want to see something different. You know, I love to see different comic book adaptations and stuff like that. You know, Logan, Deadpool, Zack Snyder's World, in Infinity War, all interesting different movies that took risks with their characters and their storytelling, and it really stands to them. I love those kinds of stories. And WandaVision seems to be something that the MCU has never done before. There doesn't seem to be this kind of formula implemented yet. Of course, I've only seen the first 2 episodes, got 7 more to go, but I'm interested because there's a larger mystery at stake in this show. And basically, it's called WandaVision, and it follows Wanda and Vision in kind of a sitcom team show. That sitcoms are big from the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and it looks like this show is going to touch on every single one of those decades, and you slowly see them change already in the first 2 episodes, and it looks like that episode 3 could be pushing into the late 60s, 70s, and it's interesting. But the plot to the first 2 episodes are very, very simple. The first one is Wanda and Vision have just got married, they're living in this house, the suburb, life is happy, Vision has a job, he transforms himself into a human, Wanda's the housewife, cooks dinner, cleans, all that kind of stuff. And the plot for the first episode, for the pilot, is Wanda and Vision have a date highlighted on their calendar. They think it's important, but they can't remember why it's highlighted, what it's important for. And then as the episode goes on, Vision goes to work and he realizes that it was actually a double date with his boss and his wife. But Wanda then thinks that, oh, it's an anniversary of when they first met or something like that, so she tries to do something special, like cook dinner or dress up sexy and stuff like that, chocolate strawberries. So that's kind of what the episode is about. The boss comes over, she's all dressed up, awkward jokes and stuff like that. You know, the jokes in the first 2 episodes, I laughed a few times, and there is a few dry jokes, and if you like dry humor, you're probably going to like this show a lot. But in episode 2, there's a town talent show going on, and Wanda and Vision are entering that show as magicians, but they're using real magic, but they have to make it look like the magic is fake. Well, in our world, when there's a magician up on stage, we kind of know it's fake, but the magician kind of makes it look real, you know, kind of way. So that was kind of interesting how the tables turned there. But the first 2 episodes, simple plots, but there's a lot of mystery because there's a lot of Easter eggs in this show. You know, we get references toward, not S.H.I.E.L.D., but the new kind of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is S.W.O.R.D. We also get hints towards Hydra as well. It seemed to be a big part of this, which I was not expecting. You know, there's the Stark Industries as well. There's a helicopter that appears in episode 2, which is the only thing that appears in colour in the episode, along with someone who gets cut and red blood appears. They're the only 2 bits of colour in the entire first 2 episodes, really, when you actually look at it. And that's the colours of Iron Man. So is Tony Stark or is his father going to play a part in this series as well? It's interesting, and there's so much mystery at stake. The chemistry between Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen are absolutely brilliant. You know, they're really well cast together, and whoever had the idea of putting them 2 together in kind of a love relationship, that's a pretty good idea, and they play off each other perfectly. And Paul Bettany, his comedy moments in this are pretty good. And if you remember from the early Iron Man days, when he was just the voice of Jarvis, his comedy and his banter with Tony Stark was pretty cool as well. So that's carried over now into live action. But it looks like that Paul Bettany's just having so much fun. But the larger story here is pretty unique, because we know from Endgame, from Infinity War that Vision is dead. Vision was killed twice in Infinity War, one by Wanda and then again by Thanos. Now it seems like this has had a huge implication on Wanda herself going forward. It looks like that she's descending in some kind of madness, because we know as an audience that none of this is real. This is a false reality. And even in episode 2, Wanda refers to Vision as an illusion when he's doing his magician tricks on stage. An illusion. So he's not real, and it looks like this is a false reality that Wanda has created for herself of happiness, of joy, of wanting to be married and live that happy life and maybe have children with Vision. But we know this isn't real, and it's interesting to see how each episode is going to progress and how it opens up and how it expands. Now the first 2 episodes, simple plot, but there's hints, there's Easter eggs that things are not what they seem. The people that are in this show, that live in this town, they seem to me personally that they're being brainwashed, that they're being manipulated, and they actually snap out of that manipulation a few times and like, who are you, what is this, and then they snap back into it. And when characters are in pain in this show, when they're in agony, they don't cry, they don't shout. You can see the emotion in their eyes that they're being used for something. But what do? They continue to smile like nothing is going wrong. In episode 1, Vision's boss starts to choke on a sausage, I think, and his wife is like, oh stop it, but she's smiling, she's kind of happy. But you can notice that Wanda, in that moment, has a bit of pain as well. So is Wanda being manipulated too? Is Vision being manipulated? What exactly is going on? It looks like that the reason that everything that's happened in this false reality is because of Wanda. But I think there's a bigger villain at large here. I think there's someone manipulating or using Wanda to their own good. Now in episode 2, we get to see a beekeeper come out of the ground. Is that someone from Hydra? Is that someone from Sword trying to get in and breach Wanda? Because we hear in the radio as well that someone is saying to Wanda, is somebody doing this to you? What are you doing, Wanda? Why is this happening? So what is happening? It's pretty unique. And they went full sitcom. It doesn't come out of it. It doesn't do action, or it doesn't say, oh, I used to be an Avenger. It's full sitcom. And they don't even know when they met, when they got married, why they don't have children, why they're in this town. They can't answer simple questions. So it's going to be interesting how this show progresses, and I want to give praise to Marvel. This show may end up being bad, but at least they're doing something different. At least they're going outside the comfort zone of the comic book genre that they have created in this formula of comedy, and the hero wins and the hero is perfect and stuff like that. You know, it really is different, and hats off to them, and I hope it carries on. But it looks like the next episode 3, which won't come out the next week, we'll be touching maybe the 70s, then we go into the 80s, then we go into modern day, and then that's where shit starts to hit the fan, where we see S.H.I.E.L.D. or Hydra trying to get into this town. But my prediction is that this is a town that Wanda has created. She is manipulating all these people. I think as the decades move on, these people won't age, they'll stay the same age, but the surroundings around them will get different. The houses will get more modern. The television that this show is on will turn into a flat screen, you know, things like that. It's going to progress as time moves on, and it's pretty messed up, and this has the potential of being a really different and interesting comic book movie show adaptation. You know, maybe the House of M as well, where Wanda kind of loses her mind and starts kind of brainwashing people. So guys, the first 2 episodes for me went full sitcom. Probably 1940s, 1950s. Probably got a lot of inspiration from shows like Bewitched or the Dick Van Dyke Show and stuff like that, which is interesting. I'm expecting some maybe Brady Bunch, things like that as well. But yeah, I like the way that this is done different. I really, really do. And the performances are great. The Easter eggs are hints. Also, if you notice, guys, I think Wanda and Vision's house is called, their number is 2800. But if you look closely at the 8, it looks like the Hydra symbol as well. If you look very, very closely. And there's little Easter eggs like that, and it's pretty cool. There's also commercials in each episode. And you're like, what? A commercial? What? No, but these commercials actually add to the story. And there's actually Easter eggs in the commercials. The first one references the Stark family, the Stark industry. The second one references Hydra and the guy, the scientist who created Wanda and Quicksilver from Age of Ultron. So, you know, it's world building. And this is cool. This is part 1. Don't forget, this is part 1 that leads into Doctor Strange 2, The Multiverse of Madness, which leads into Spider-Man 3. So it looks like maybe Wanda might be the one who creates the Multiverse of Madness, and the reason that she is descending is because Vision is dead. But also, episode 2, there was a big implication on children. The talent show was for the children, but not one child appears at the talent show. Not one child is in the crowd, and that's pretty weird. And then near the end of the episode, we see that Wanda is now pregnant. So like in the comics, will Wanda end up having twins? And is this the creation of the X-Men, the mutants? What happens? Are these children real? And if these children are taken off Wanda, does this make her even more crazy? Is there somebody, a greater villain at large, that wants her twins, wants her children, wants her to think that this is a real world, she's living in a real reality, and then they pounce in at the moment and get it? I don't know, it's pretty cool. Catherine Hahn, of course, as well. Big talks that she might be a villain in this. She did the sitcom element perfect. She actually stole the kind of... She definitely... If there was one actor, if I was to pick, that said, oh yeah, they could definitely be placed in the 1940s, 1960s into a sitcom, it would be Catherine Hahn. She's a brilliant comedian anyway, so that's good. But guys, can't wait for episode 3 next week. This will be a perfect show to binge watch, so you could see all the little Easter eggs, you could break it down, you could get little hints, but we have to wait week to week. And this is cool. This is the start of 2021, which is probably going to be the year of Marvel. Zack Snyder's Justice League's coming as well, but this also, you got Winter Soldier coming, you got Loki coming, you got all these shows coming, some movies coming as well. So it's probably going to be the year of Marvel. But all these are tying in together, and they seem different from each other, which is also great. And maybe Marvel are at the stage now where we have used that formula enough. We need to try something different. The world has changed, so we need to try something different. And if that's the case, go do it, Kevin Feige. And if this is a ballsy attempt at doing something new, and it doesn't work, at least they tried. If it does work, then there could be so much more potential for greater stories with these characters. But I'm looking forward to it. Also, the aspect ratio of the first 2 episodes are 4:3, which will also be the aspect ratio of Zack Snyder's Justice League. So if you're not sure how it's going to look when you see Batman and Superman and Aquaman, watch this show. You'll definitely see, get used to it. Definitely, and I can't wait. It actually makes you concentrate on the characters and maybe the objects a little bit more. But guys, did you like the first 2 episodes of WandaVision? I love them. I thought they were interesting, cool, and unique. I'm looking forward to the rest of it. Guys, comment, subscribe. Hopefully the lights don't go out again. Nope, they don't go out. The review is done, guys. Appreciate it. Go follow all the socials as well in the description. My Facebook, my Instagram, my Vero, Twitter, all that stuff. Also, you'll find me on the Movie Bus podcast and on Real Talk Live. Go to the links of those channels and subscribe as well, guys. Appreciate it. Don't forget to let me know, because I'm always interested in what you guys have to say, and I always reply. I always reply to you guys. Anyway, guys, have fun.